Hi, welcome back to Box of Delights. Today I've got something a little bit different to show you. This is a Kickstarter preview of Mythic Battles Pantheon sent to me by the game's developers. This is only a prototype, it's only a subset of the components, but it's enough here to just show me how this game plays and tell you why I think this is going to be a great game to back, and one that I'm actually enjoying already just with this prototype. I've been playing this game 2-player. Me and my son have been enjoying some battles across the map. You're going to be playing with these mythical creatures of legend, the gods, Hades and Zeus, heroes like Hercules or Heracles, Leonidas, Atlanta, warriors like the Spartans, we have the centaurs here, and monsters like Cerberus or Medusa. And you can play these battles through different scenarios, and you can play it competitively, you can play it team play, one team against another, one against many. You can play these competitive games in a campaign of scenarios, and you can even play cooperatively and solitaire with some AI driven enemies. The game's going to come with these highly detailed miniatures. We've got plastic cast miniatures like these, and you've also got these resin models. Obviously these are going to be a lot more higher detail, and I suspect going to cost you a little bit more money. And with these clear bases, it really helps to see the terrain on which they're standing on the maps that come with the game. But this isn't just a miniatures game. Don't brush it aside, because what's attracted me to this game is the gameplay. In particular, the game centers around this dice mechanism that I want to talk to you about. I'll show you how this works, because this is what kind of ignites the game and makes it exciting. We're going to start by introducing you to the draft. Each player is going to choose one of the gods available. I've just got Hades and Zeus here. So let's set up two teams and show you how they might draft. So we've got Zeus versus Hades. Each player starts with 12 points. Gods are free, they don't use any points, but now you can start drafting from the available units, spending those points. Now remember, this is just a subset of the units that will be available to you in the final game. The stats of each unit are shown on this dial here. Now in the final game, these are going to be replaced with like a dashboard with clips on, like a chart, a row of values rather than this rotating dial. I think the problem, this is a neat idea. Maybe they found that these slipped too easily. And included on here is going to be the cost. So Heracles is going to cost 4. So 4 out of those 12 points spent. Let's take Hercules. Next player then, let's say they choose Leonidas. That's 3 points. So we've got 12. We've got 8 points left. Let's go for Atlanta, taking us down to 6. Okay, now this player, we're tending to take the heroes first. Alright, but you could take these bigger monsters. You can choose to take whatever you want really, but these monsters tend to be quite awesome. When you're playing the co-op or the solo game, some of these scenarios will pit you against these monsters, and I'll kind of show you a little bit how that AI might work in the solo game in a moment. Let's finish up the draft. Let's go for the Hydra. That's 4 points, that's 7 down here, 5 remaining. And I think we'll take Medusa over here. That's cost 3. Takes us up to 9. And then we'll take Cerberus here. Okay, those are like your main heroes and monsters. Down here, these ones don't have sliding dials. They've got fixed stats. But instead they've got a number of units. So for example, the Hellhounds here is composed of 6 figures, 6 units. See these 6 pawn type shapes. Okay, and as you kill, these are going to disappear. Right, and the good thing about these is that you can actually respawn them from your side of the battlefield if you choose them. Okay, so let's take the Hellhounds. What are they costing? 1. Each one of these only costs 1. That takes us up to what? 4, 5, 6. That takes us up to 10. So we've got 2 more here. We're already up to 11 here, so we can only choose 1 set from down here. Let's take the Hell Warriors. That's these guys. Okay, 4 units here, and then this lot will go over to this team. Okay, so that's 12 and 12. And that's your draft. Okay, now we're ready to begin. We're going to pick a scenario, we're going to pick a map, we're going to set up, and we're ready to go. Now, although this game is driven by this dice mechanism, it's also a card game. Right? And the actions you take and what resources are available to you are governed by a hand of cards filled from a deck made up of cards for each of your units. Right? So each player has a set of cards for each recruited unit. And you're going to create your deck by shuffling these all together. The number of cards each unit brings is governed by something called its activation characteristic. So if we look at Hades, for example, it has this icon here, these 4 cards, these 4 stars, brings 4 cards. You compare this to, say, the Hell Warriors, they only bring 3 cards. Okay, Cerberus, Hydra, Leonidas all bring 4 cards. Not only do you add the activation cards for your units, you also get what's called active war cards. These are special cards with special abilities, and these are going to be one of the driving forces behind your deck. This is the act of war icon in the prototype here, this up arrow. And if we look at our god and our heroes and our monsters, you can see that they have this act of war icon on them as well. So down below, there are 4 activation cards. Hades has 1 act of war card. So 1 extra act of war card goes to your deck. Leonidas provides 2, so 2 here. The Zeus player, they've done a little bit better here. Got 2 from Zeus, 1 from Heracles, 2 from Atlantis. So the thing is, although Atlanta may be a weaker unit, 2 active war cards is going to give her some strength to the team. Units also have, we'll come to the stats in a minute, some specials. So these are traits here, initiative and climbing. We call these talents, and these powers potentially going to use active war cards to trigger, and then on the reverse you'll find a description of what their powers do. These values here, you have their attack, their defense, their range. These icons here say when they can use their powers. So when she's at 4 health, she can use both the power with the hand icon, Huntress, and the power with the star, Dodge. Then you've got movement and health. The health is just going to clock down as you take damage. Your attack and defense are going to determine how many dice you roll and then what numbers are needed to hit. And that's really the key to this game and what's exciting about this game. So if I look at something like Medusa with a defense of 7, they need a 7 to hit. Now you're going to say, well, hang on, you're just using regular dice, how did you get a 7? Okay, well, let's set up a little bit of combat and show you how this works. Remember, our aim, the scenario is going to drive what each of the objectives are. Typically, you've got these gems called Omphalos. Okay, you're going to be collecting these, and then you're going to have a team who must collect the most of these. All right. If you collect 5 or 4 or whatever the scenario tells you, then you win the game. The other way to win the game might be to defeat the opponent's god. On your turn, you're going to be deploying your units out to the board. Okay, and then they're going to be doing battle across this arena. Let's pit, say, the Medusa against Leonidas. Okay. Now Leonidas has an attack of 6, so he's going to roll 6 dice, and he's trying to get Medusa's defense of 7. Okay. Now on these dice, it's not even as good as 1 to 6 because the 6 side has been blanked out. Okay, it's worth nothing. But this is how it works. You roll your dice. Anything that rolls a blank, set aside. At the moment, we've got a 4, a 3, a 4, a 4, and a 5. None of those are hits. They need to be 7s. The good thing is, we can set aside 5s and re-roll them. And if we re-roll them, we add the new value on top. Okay, so 5 plus 1 would be a 6. Okay, if we rolled it and got another 5, that would be 5 plus 5, a 10. And we could even choose to re-roll it again if we got another 5. And this time it would be 5 plus 5 plus 2, 12. Okay, so it's a 5. Every time you roll a 5, you can, if you wish, choose to re-roll it. Re-roll and add the value on. So 5 plus 2 is a 7. That's a hit. Okay, now there's a risk. If you roll a blank, every blank needs to be set aside. So we lose our 5. We lose that die. Okay, we didn't get anything for it. We had a 5, now we got nothing. That's the push your luck element. The other thing you can do is you can turn any one die, any of them, into a +1. Okay, so let's say I choose, I'll keep the 5, I'll keep the 4, I'll keep the 4, I'll turn this into a +1, I'll turn this into a +1. Now, these become 5s. Okay, I can turn them into 5s. They've got a +1. Right? Those have been spent, set them aside. Now I've got 3 5s. Now I could choose to re-roll all of them. Okay, let's re-roll them all. Remember that each of them has a value 5 plus whatever the re-roll is. Okay, now see I've got a 10, a 9, and an 8. That's 3 hits. 3 hits on the Medusa. Right. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. Let's do that again. Let's show you. I mean, this is what I like about this game, is I love this little dice mechanism. Right, we got an attack of 6. We're trying to go for a 7. Okay, so I got a couple of good things here. I got a 5. I can plus that one. I think I might just keep these to one side, and I'm going to change those to +1s. I don't have to spend those +1s straight away. I can save them. Okay, so I'm going to spend that one, turn that into a 5. Now I've got 3 5s. I'm looking for 7s. And I could use those as 2 +1s and get an automatic hit. Let's do that. So I've got 1 hit, then I'll re-roll these. Ah, brilliant. Now I've got 2 10s. So that's 3 hits. So how you choose to spend your dice, what strategies you use, you know, am I going to re-roll 5s, I'm going to boost them, is entirely up to you. Let's do Medusa on, let's pick another one. Let's say we're trying to take down Hades. Hades, the god, needs 8s. He's got a defense of 8. Medusa's only got an attack of 5. She's going to roll 5 dice. Okay. Alright, so we've got a miss. Set that one aside. A 4. I can turn this into a +1. Which will make that a 5. We've got these 2 left. Not enough to do anything with, so I'm going to use those as +1s. Keep them. I'm looking for 8s, so I'm going to re-roll this. It can only 5 plus 1 plus 7 is no good, so I re-roll. Ah, there's a blank. Yep, I've bust. I got nothing, so all I've got to show for it is a 1 plus a 1, a 2. No hits on Hades. Alright, let's try again. Let's do that one more time. So 5 dice for Medusa's attack on Hades. Alright, that's more like it. So I've got 3 +1s potentially. I could turn that 3 into another 5. Or I could just say take this 5 and turn it into an 8 with those 3s, and that will be 1 automatic hit. Or I could push my luck. Let's turn the 3 into another 5. So I'll use a +1, a +1, turn that into a 5. Discard those 2 and then re-roll these 3. So that's 5s. There we go. So I've got 5 plus 5 is 10, 10, 10, 3 hits. Okay, and I could even roll those again if I wanted to, but why would you, right? You're going to push your luck, potentially roll a blank and bust them. So there's your basic mechanism. That's how you attack and defend in this game. And that's going to be the crux of our of our gameplay. But each of these different abilities is going to allow you to potentially modify things up a little bit. Let's have a look at Medusa. So Medusa has something called Harry, initiative and climbing, and also petrification. So Harry, I think they've renamed this Torment now, says every time she performs a melee attack, the defending unit receives a -1 penalty to their defense. So if the Medusa was attacking Hades with a defense of 8, they'd have a defense of 7 instead during melee attacks. She also has a range 2 attack. Initiative, I think this is now renamed Haste, says if you're attacked, in fact this applies all the time, if you're attacked then you do have a chance to retaliate, attack back. Haste or initiative says you can attack back, you can retaliate before your attacker comes in. So if Hades comes in, tries to attack Medusa, instead of doing his attack, potentially killing her, Medusa will get to attack first and then suffer the attack of Hades. Alright, so that's initiative, they get that attack first. And climbing here, that means that she can climb onto these, what is normally inaccessible terrain. What you'll see is the map, instead of being like grids or hexes, has these lined regions. This region here is a rock, this is accessible to anyone except units with climbing. And she'll also get an advantage for range being up here. But when you move, let's have a look. So Hercules here has a movement of, at full health, just 1. Can only move from one region to another region. So from here, say, to here. Hades has a movement of 2, so he can move 1, 2. What's good though are these powers. So Hades has Inferno or Soul Culling. If we flip over, remember it tells you. So for Inferno, when you attack, you're not attacking a particular unit with this attack, you're attacking a zone. Choose 2 different tones adjacent to Hades, and this attack targets all units in these zones. And then Soul Culling says whenever any unit is destroyed, draw a card, and Hades regains 1 vitality. Okay, so vitality is health. So if he gets knocked down, okay, this Soul Culling means get 1 health back. Alright, drawing cards. Let's have a look at these cards then and see how these are used in the game. But for the start of the game, each player starts with a hand with 3 active war cards. Shuffle up your deck, remember. We're going to draw 3 cards. Okay, so we have a starting hand of 6 cards. Alright. At the start of every turn, so let's have a look at a turn sequence, you draw a card. Alright. Now at the moment, you can see that I can activate my god Zeus, I can activate Leonidas, and I can activate Cerberus. I can't activate the Hydra. I don't have an activation card. And I can't activate my Hell Warriors. But I'm limited only by the cards in my hand. And these active war cards give you some special actions. So on my turn, I can just keep playing cards until I'm done. If I choose, I can spend an active war card and draw 2 cards. Now I can activate Hydra. This card's discarded. I can't take that action again, okay? So every time you take an act of war, one of these act of war manoeuvres, you can only do it once. So I can't just keep playing act of wars and drawing 2. I can only use that manoeuvre once. But what I could do, let's say I want to get those these Hell Warriors activated, but I don't have a Hell Warriors card. I can use an act of war to search my deck. This is another manoeuvre for a particular card. Stick it in my hand, reshuffle. Okay, I can't use that manoeuvre again, I've done it. But more useful is to use an act of war card to activate a second time. Okay, because on your turn, you can activate just 1 unit. Alright, play 1 card and activate that unit. So let's play my Hell Warriors, activate my Hell Warriors. Okay, so I discard it, and I can activate these guys now. Everything begins off the map, so one of the activations you can do is to deploy. So I'm going to take all the Hell Warriors, okay? Remember this is a 4-figure unit, 4 figures, and I can place it on any one of these zones along the edge of the board that's my deployment zone. Let's say I place them here. Now what you're looking for is features of the map and using those to your advantage. Now different scenarios are going to present different features to you. Remember, these are the omphalos, and a scenario might say, right, you need to collect so many of these to win the game. So I might be looking for, zones where the omphalos are within reach. The other thing that the scenario might do is put ruins down on the map. Ruins act as obstacles against ranged attacks, so they can kind of give you cover. Typically, as it goes, I haven't got enough to show you, but each area would have 2 of these 3D terrain features in them. So if there was 2 lots of ruins here, I'd have 2 ruins figures here. And that's important because people like Hercules can pick up and smash and throw those ruins, okay, and clear a zone of things like ruins. The other features you might see are forests. I'm just proxying these. I think in the final game you might have some 3D models of trees. And again, different units might have powers over these terrain features. Let's have a look at Hercules. He says, Herculean strength. If a terrain element, ruin or tree is in the same zone as Hercules, remove it from the battlefield, then perform the attack by targeting all the units in the target zone. So you're picking up and throwing trees. Okay. So here we've deployed our Hell Warriors with a view to moving them perhaps into these ruins. So now that's it, my activation's done. I've activated 1 unit, but like I say, with your Act of War card, you could choose to activate a 2nd unit. And you can remember, you can only do Act of War maneuver once. So as my 2nd activation, let's get Cerberus on the board. Alright, so I discard Cerberus, grab his miniature, which is quite big, and we'll deploy him here in these woods. Forests also give you a defensive bonus against ranged attacks. They also give you a defensive bonus against flying creatures, which we don't have, but they're going to come. Let's go do the same for our Zeus player, and then I'll show you some of the other actions we can do. So we've got a couple of Hercules and Medusa. So this deployment is called a special action. Alright, so when you activate one of your units, normally you have 2 simple actions, or instead of your 2 simple actions, 1 special action. And deployment, entering the battlefield, is a special action. Okay. Oh, I forgot to draw a card. Alright, let's move on. So back to the Hades player. We'll draw a card. We've drawn Zeus. What I really want to do is activate one of the units I've got out. I want to activate Cerberus. So with my 1 activation, I don't have any Art of War cards left, I'm going to activate Cerberus. So he doesn't need his special action of coming onto the map now. He can have his 2 simple actions. And your 2 simple actions, I've got a reference card here to help us, are move, attack, claim, and omphalos. So the only thing you can't do is attack and then move. You can't go in, attack, and then run away. You can move in and attack, but no, we're not cowards. Cerberus's movement, he's at full strength, is 2. We can't perform the same action twice. We can't, with our 2 actions, we can't do move, move, or attack, attack. Right? It's move and attack, or attack, claim an omphalos, or claim an omphalos, and then move. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So let's move, but you can run, okay, and that's a special action. Running is like moving, but with 1 extra zone added in, but then that will take up your 2 actions. But anyway, I'm going to move. I've got a movement of 2, so 1, 2, and my 2nd action is to attack. Now typically, Cerberus has a range of 0, so he can't attack anyone other than somebody in the same zone as him, right? But we're not in the same zone. For my 2nd action, you see I can use Threefold Bites or Blazing Breath. I can use my powers. Threefold Bites says I can target up to 3 different enemy units in the same zone. But Blazing Breath says choose a zone adjacent to Cerberus. This attack targets all units in that zone. I'm going to target this zone. my Blazing Breath attack. And this does cost an Act of War card. And as it goes, we don't have any, so we couldn't do that attack. But let's just assume we did have. Okay, so we discard the Act of War. That allows me to do our special attack. Now you'll notice that this is attack X, and X is given by this symbol, this lightning bolt in a white box. And currently, that is value 6, so it's an attack 6 dice. Okay. We're attacking Medusa. She has a defense of 7. I think this is why these dashboards idea is better than these dials, because they do tend to move. So defense of 7. Although Medusa can retaliate with initiative only on melee combats. Okay. What have we got? We've got a 5, a couple of 1s. I could turn that into a 5. We're looking for 7s. So I might take 1 guaranteed hit, and I think I'll turn that into a 5. And I need 2s on these 2 dice to get 7s. And I've got 2 1s. But I could use one of these, that's now a 6, yeah? 5 plus 1 is a 6. So I could turn it into a 1, plus 1, and make that 6 a 7. So that's 2 hits. 2 hits on Medusa. So she winds down 2 spots. Okay, let's try something else. Let's draw a card here. Alright, we've got lots of Art of War. Let's go and activate Zeus. So I'll discard a card, go and look for the card I'm looking for. Oops, I've noticed I've put the Hades cards in here. Let's switch these around. So we're Hades, not Zeus. Okay, so Hades is over here. Let's activate Hades. So I've grabbed my Hades card. Now I can activate him. We'll just do a special action of deploying. Draw a card. Right, let's deploy Zeus. So Zeus is over here. He comes in over here. Turn passes. I'd really like to activate Hades again. So let's grab another Hades card. There we go. I could have done the draw 2 cards, but this is an expensive way to spend your Act of War cards, by the way. Right, he's got a movement of 2. 1, 2, let's move in here. That's one of my 2 simple actions. Remember, I can attack and I can claim an Omphalos. So attacking seems like a good idea, but I just want to show you the other thing we can do is just claim one of these Omphalos. We can pick it up, stick it on our base. Now this is going to be carried around with me. Now as a special action, and this can only be performed by gods, is you can absorb the Omphalos. Okay, so let's say on our next turn we absorb the Omphalos. We activate Hades here, we absorb this. This goes to our play area. Not only that, we grab one of these cards, these Omphalos cards, and that goes to our hand. This acts just like an Act of War, but it has an additional benefit. You can discard it from the game and reclaim one of your lost hell. Alright. Now remember, one of the victory conditions of your scenario might be to be the first player to claim, say, 4 Omphalos. Right? So that's the other layer to this game. It's not just about conflict, battle, but it's about vying for position and claiming those Omphalos. And I really like the fact that they've added that extra dimension to these scenarios to give you, that other method of playing rather than just beat the heck out of everyone. You can also play positionally and fight for control of the arena. So for example, one of the scenarios you'll see is called the Divine Race, and in the Divine Race there's just going to be 1 Omphalos in the centre of the board, and the first god to absorb that Omphalos is victorious. Alright, so you've really got to think about how you're going to keep your player, push your opponent around the board, keep your units positioned. In another scenario called the Hydra Hunt, this is going to be a solo or co-op scenario, while the players control one side of the board and they're trying to protect a village. The Hydra is slowly marching across the board, and our aim is to hold it up and push it back and gradually defeat it before it makes its way through to destroy the village. So this game is a lot more than just beautiful miniatures. These are some of my favourites, the Centaurs. You have this cracking dice mechanism, some simple, fast gameplay, card play and hand management, and a lot of tactical play. Mythic Battles Pantheon is a heck of a lot of fun. I really enjoy this one, and can't wait to see the final build. Thanks for watching. Go and check it out. I'll see you next time.